You got people fucking going crazy. Well, first come, first serve thing, man. Everybody's going insane. Even that guy was like, if they cut in front of you, that's your ticket gone. He's like telling us to fucking throw bows. Oh, fancy, dude, high profile. That is pretty sick.
Is that one? I want that. Yeah. I don't even use it.
So this whole line that we're in right now is for tickets to potentially be able to play Final Fantasy VII. So we don't even know if we're gonna get to or not. This is fucking crazy. All right, I'm hoping. I think we're good. We got here pretty quick. It was just so funny to see so many people fucking running up here.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I use those long legs. Those 4 steps at a time. Back forward, guys, so they can see. Back forward. Are you gonna get this one? Yeah, and you might as well come play tag and shits.
Thank you.
Oh, you can't go this way.
All right, well,
It's okay.
you got it, baby.
4 to 5 p.m. Cool. We got our fucking tickets, 4 to 5 p.m. So we will be playing Final Fantasy VII, which is sick. Goddamn. All right. Well, that's that out of the way. So let's enjoy E3. Yeah, let's do it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to our second day of E3 recap. If you missed us talking about what we saw with Cyberpunk yesterday, I would definitely encourage you to go check out that episode. We went and saw that behind closed doors, and we talked about it pretty much for half the video, the last episode, talking about our impressions of it and pretty much everything we could remember from it. So if you're interested in Cyberpunk, which I'm sure you are, check that out. But yeah, today, whole different day, our first major objective of the day was to play Final Fantasy VII. Luckily, we did, and we'll get to that in a sec. Another game we were not able to film, but we will be talking about. But overall, today, our second day, we got a lot more games played.
Yeah.
And I feel like overall was a better day. It wasn't as hot for some reason in the whole fucking place. Yeah. We got a lot of free shit handed to us constantly, and we played more games, although a couple games we were not able to get into. We will try again tomorrow, which is the last day, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We got a whole fucking day to try and get more games in, but it's pretty daunting. There's a lot there, and the longer you wait, the longer the lines get, and it becomes almost impossible to get into some of those games. But we've knocked out, I think, some of the biggest ones we needed to knock out, so which has been very cool.
Yep.
So we're gonna go down a list of some of the games we played because we played more than yesterday, and we'll talk about them a bit. So in the beginning of the day, we kind of like headed towards the Bang section first. If you don't know what Bang is, you're in another country or something. Bang is an energy drink in the United States. It's a really good one, and for some reason here they just fucking give them out. Like they don't, like they just put them on a table, you just walk up and take them. So we definitely took advantage of that, and then we headed over to the was it Bandai Namco section?
Yep.
Which we had to skip yesterday, and we played a couple games, which was pretty cool. First off, also you might have saw in the video, they had some pretty cool displays going on. They had like this box that people could go in and get scared. I don't know what the fuck was happening there.
Yeah.
We didn't even know how to get in there, but I also am not like super stoked to just let's find out what's in there.
Yeah.
But had a lot of games playing on a screen, which is really cool. That Tales of Arise or the fuck, really cool looking. Really excited to check that out when that comes out. But yeah, we played Man of Medan, which if you guys don't know is the same guys who made Until Dawn. They are making like a series of games within like the same like Scary World universe or some shit, and we got a chance to play that. It was a pretty short demo.
It was, yeah.
The line was also short, which is nice.
Yeah.
And in that we played as what was her name? Fliss?
Yeah.
I can't believe I remember that. It's a weird name.
Yeah.
Play a character named Fliss who's creeping around in a fucking ship, and you run into a dude, and then he runs off.
You're being like, there's like a guy with a gun pointed at you. Like there's kind of a backstory, and then there's a dude with all of a sudden you're just put into fast forward, and your dude is basically has you hostage, and you're going down to the bottom of the ship.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't really add a whole. It has like this recap thing that's a video, but it doesn't do much. So you're just like, okay.
Iceman.
Yeah, so you just walk with this dude. Eventually, he gets spooked and fucking pumps himself up, runs around the corner with his gun. You hear gunshots, and then he's just you don't hear him anymore.
Yeah.
And your chick's like, "What the fuck was that about?" You go around the corner, you run into some other dude who fucking like scares you, and then later he tries to like fucking be weird, and you have to tell him like stop being weird or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get attacked finally by some fucking.
Well, before that, it actually gives you like whether you're gonna be like you think rationally or you think with your heart, I guess.
Yeah. What'd you pick?
I picked rational.
Yeah. Yeah. In the very beginning of the game, kind of reminded me of Until Dawn, where it was kind of doing like a psychoanalysis on you.
Yeah.
This was more so asking like morality versus rationality.
Yeah.
And
makes me think it's a little bit different than Until Dawn.
Well, it just seems like they're kind of like taking a similar approach, but trying a different way of doing it. Yeah. Not necessarily the same thing, but still like learning off the player's choices, but also what you think of yourself.
Yeah.
I also picked rational because in a game with characters I don't know or care about, rational is always going to be my first choice. In real life, obviously, my emotions would come into play more with somebody I cared about. Blah blah blah. Which I thought was kind of interesting. But pretty much, like I said, it's a short demo. There's a part where like you're walking and you get pulled into the water, and I thought it was kind of a neat scene where there's arms coming out of the water grabbing each part of your body, and you're hitting buttons to try and get away from them, and they start like pulling your face closer into the water, and then another like a fucking zombie face comes out of the water. It's really cool looking. But me and you both kind of like horror shit, macabre stuff, so we definitely appreciate that. And then you end up getting free, and then one of the dudes who was with you gets grabbed by like 3, 4, or 5 zombies. And you have a choice of either saving him or running away. because I didn't like the character and didn't give a fuck about him, I chose to run away.
Yeah, I should have picked the other option, but I did see what happened.
We saw someone do it.
Had someone do it, yeah. So he ended up you save him, but then he's a zombie or whatever the heck. There's like creature zombies, and so that was kind of neat. I hate shit being spoiled for me, but at least I had two different options. So.
At least we got to see what it was though, because we're not going to play it until it comes out. Exactly. So, but it was kind of a cool way to leave it off. So when you run away from the dude, it kind of shows the guy getting grabbed or whatever, and then it shows from his perspective the doorway, and your character walks up looking at him, and then they slowly like shut the door, and then you see the guy getting ripped apart. And I thought it was like kind of like cinematically a really cool way to put that. And then the other way, like you said, she like runs and then grabs him, pulls him out of there, and then he ends up being a zombie or something like that.
So there's multiple different ways I can do it, which is awesome.
But yeah, overall, I feel like it.
It's like a ghost shit sort of game, which is kind of neat idea. I don't know if it's all going to take place on the boat. But
other one obviously had a Wendigo in it, but like as a thematical game, it is pretty much your like, typical forest slasher type movie. There's something out in the woods killing people. This is zombie ship ghost shit, which is kind of interesting. But overall, my opinion on it, it feels very much a lot like Until Dawn. It feels like the same type of game exactly,
really good.
But it looks way better. I think the voice acting was done better, and the decisions are more interesting, but it's absolutely within the same wheelhouse, which is good because this is what these guys do. But if you liked Until Dawn, you will probably like this. I'm curious about it. I never bought Until Dawn, but I got it for free on PlayStation Plus, and I ended up really liking it. So I might end up picking this up because I really like what they did with the last game. Anything else you want to say on Man of Dawn?
It's pretty short, so
it was a very short demo.
Sure.
Oh yeah, and then we also got tickets for some kind of raffle thing. You have to trade in the ticket to get a ticket for a raffle later, but when we trade in the ticket, they're like, what size shirts do you wear? And they gave us Man of Dawn shirts, so that was kind of cool. In fact, I'll just show you guys because it's right fucking here. Yeah, we weren't expecting that. And so someone hands me free shit, I just take it because I like getting stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, so we played that, and then we wrapped around again, same booth for more Bandai Namco games. We played Code Vein. I thought it was very important that I played Code Vein because I've been curious, but also we've talked about it on the channel quite a bit. It's a game that the community, you guys, and Tasty Crew have been back and forth on. Like, it looks kind of cool. It's got things about it that look neat. Is it going to be good, though? It keeps getting delayed. Is it just the Dark Souls clone? And honestly, and I want to get your honest opinion on it, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. 100%.
But there's more moves and more like weird.
We'll get into that, but it is literally, it's fucking anime Dark Souls, 100%.
Yeah.
You lock onto people, you dodge, you swing, blah blah blah. It's very anime, and the animations are a lot better than they looked in the trailers. I was actually impressed by the way the animations looked. Now that being said, first off, this game is pretty fucking hard.
It's super hard.
It's pretty fucking hard. It's kind of frustrating because I'm like, I only have a certain amount of time to do this demo, and I'm getting my ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
I had to keep going back to the fireplace and shit like that, and resetting all the monsters, and I kept switching my weapons constantly because I wanted to get a feel for most of them, and I liked 50% of them. And then I also switched my costumes a couple times, and I switched my NPC. And I switched my NPC partner twice. You start with the chick. Not the Russian chick from the trailer, but this other chick. And then I switched it to this vampire-looking dude who looks exactly like my guy, only like different haircut and shit. And then somebody else. And I tried most of the weapons I found. But like you were saying, one thing that differentiates it from Dark Souls is when you hold one of the trigger buttons. It opens up a menu, and you have all the D-pad buttons and all of your circle, X, square, triangle buttons, and those will allow you to do certain moves. Like you'll jump in the air, start swinging and doing backflips and shit, or you'll charge at a guy, or you'll appear behind him and stab him. So that's not like Dark Souls, because Dark Souls is all like, perfect hitboxes, don't get hit, block, swing type shit, whereas this is that, but also you can execute like a crazy move on them to help you get the edge, which I think is pretty cool. That felt different enough.
Yeah, there's so many buttons in it, in fact, that they had, like, they were passing around, like,
An instruction
and
manual.
It was like multiple pages of instruction stuff, and I'm like, that is pretty crazy. And I'm like, nah, that's all right. I'll just figure it out. And then when I got to it, I was like, fuck, I don't know how to do anything.
The guy like handed it to me. I looked at him like, no, I'm good. He's like staring at me weird. He's like, can you pass it down? I was like, oh yeah, sure. And I handed it you, and you just handed it off, and we're like, okay, we don't need that shit. But overall, like I said, it's pretty much exactly what I thought it was gonna be, but it's that's not good or bad. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up. I'd like to see reviews on it, but from what I played, it's something I would play. I just don't know if it's enough for me to want to go pick it up, day one. Another thing worth mentioning too is there is a bayonet like musket that I thought was kind of an interesting weapon.
Cool,
because one of the buttons you'd shoot with it, and you go boom, and then you go boom, and then if you hit the other button, you'd stab with it and slice with it and shit.
Yeah,
and if you ran out of ammo, you could still stab and stuff like that.
Didn't use that to the very end, but it was like one of my favorite ones.
There's a big ass hammer I used. That one's pretty decent. There's another big ass sword that was so slow. I was like, I will never use this.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much if you've seen trailers on that game and you have an opinion on what you think that game is, you're almost 100% correct. Outside of there are some pretty cool specials you can use per weapon or whatever, which I think is pretty neat. And also having an NPC with you was kind of a less lonely experience than like a Dark Souls game. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, overall, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I just wasn't super stoked on it, but finally I've touched it now and I know what that game is exactly. So
I really want to play some stuff, so it was kind of nice that we got to get in and then, so almost immediately. I mean, it was like still like a 30, 45 minute wait, but still, we got to play some stuff.
Yeah, there's some weird like power outage thing that happened too with all the monitors and the consoles, but not like the lights.
As we're watching the Legion, is that Legion, right?
Yeah,
Legion.
Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion, and there was like some glitching that was happening with that, but it was part of the video. But all of a sudden it cut out, and everybody's like,
and you could hear across the fucking convention center a bunch of people going, woo, just like yelling and shit, and then all of our shit shut off, and then the people who were playing mid demo all just walked off. And then when they reset everything, our line moved way the fuck ahead because now there's like all these empty spots. Yeah. But so that kind of sucks for them. But it was interesting. Then anything else you want to say on Code Vein?
No. Is this kind of cool? Like you were saying about the NPC making a less lonely experience. They talk to you and stuff like that, which is kind of nice because it is. There's a little tiny difference. If you're gonna do like a Dark Souls clone or copy, little differences are the way to go. As far as having NPC help you fight and then talk, they talk to you, they say stuff the whole time.
They actually said a lot of things. Your health is low, they'd mention it. If you found a chest, they're like, anything good in there? And like, there was like a constant dialogue that was happening.
Yeah.
And I remember in the demo I originally watched, the trailer, it was gameplay, the chick was repeating herself a lot, and this didn't seem as bad. So it seems like they maybe added more dialogue. Plus, every single NPC you can pick from, and there's like 8 in the demo that you can pick from, all their own voices and dialogue.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of work put into
cool,
it. Yeah, so definitely something I'm keeping my eye on, but I don't know if I'm like super stoked on it. But it's not bad. So if you're curious about it, it's exactly what you think it is, and you'll probably like it if that's what you want it to be. The other game I played, we went over to the THQ Nordic section, who has a bunch of weird games. Yesterday we talked about Destroy All Humans, so make sure to go check that out. But Cody went for a quick walk to kind of fucking scout the place out while I stayed to play Biomutant, another game like Code Vein that I keep eyeing, and I want to know if I'm going to like it or not. Luckily I got to play it, and I have to say I liked it. It has a lot of really cool ideas. I like the way you customized your mutant in a really streamlined and easy way, but you can make some pretty different looking mutants. And the combat is very much like Batman or Spider-Man, where you lock onto people and you're dodging while they swing at you. There's a lot of really inventive and smart things that happen in your gameplay, at least in my demo. They remind me of almost like PS2 era. Like I'm around fighting people and shit, and then I ended up getting into a mech, and then suddenly I'm playing like a mech game, and it played completely different. And I'm like boosting around and fighting a boss and shit, and we're destroying buildings while we're fighting, and then he ends up destroying my mech, swallowing me, and now I'm inside of the monster. Yeah. I have to like get out of its stomach, go up into its throat or into its chest, and start hitting its heart, and then it like flushed its system out with this green shit, put me back in the stomach. I had to like climb back out, hit the heart some more until I killed the thing. And there's a lot I could say on it, but I thought it was pretty cool. You can definitely tell it's not a AAA game made by a huge developer, but it looks decent enough. It plays decent enough. It's kind of not as streamlined as a lot of games could be, but not enough for me to really care about it. I think there's enough cool ideas in that game to merit picking it up if you're looking at it and you're interested in it. If you're looking at it and you're like, that game looks like shit, try it out maybe, but I'm not saying go buy it, because if you have a chance to play it, try it out and see if you like it or not. But
graphics look really good.
Yeah, I mean, it has its own style.
But it was on, if they were advertising the shit out of that, it's on Alienware. But it's like the follicles in the hair and stuff like that. You can definitely see it was graphically very pretty.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like cool little things in the game too. Like I got a mutation in the game where I could create a bubble around myself and make myself jump higher and shit and bounce around, stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of gameplay elements to the game to make it interesting when you're playing it outside of just running and shooting things or running and hitting things.
Is it random, the stuff that you find in there? I wonder. That'd be kind of interesting.
I don't think it is, but in the demo it definitely wasn't, because it was all kind of part of the experience.
That'd be too much.
Because the area was like kind of platformy, and all of a sudden introduced that bubble. So it was a way to kind of get around, but also get really high if someone is attacking you.
That's kind of cool.
There's a lot of mutations in the game.
I was like punching through stuff.
Yeah, I found a metal arm. There's like an ancient arm or something like that, and you could like punch people, but then you could hold it back and do way more damage, or punch through doors and shit. So there's a lot going on with that game, and yeah, I mean, I liked it. So I kind of was interested in it before, so it was pretty cool. So if you're curious about Bomb, check it out. The other THQ Nordic game we played was Darksiders Genesis, which I still haven't watched anything on it from E3, but we went and played it, so I guess that's better than any trailer could have watched. We were completely out of the loop, and I heard they were making a new Darksiders game, but I had no idea it was going to be an isometric action-adventure game that's not quite Diablo. But it is good. We played it.
Well, yeah.
We played it, and it's funny. When I first looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's like a Diablo game. That's cool. But what it is it's a cooperative or single-player top-down game. It's more action-driven than loot. There's no loot in the game. I was listening to a rep talk about the game, and he was saying that it's not a loot game, but the customization comes with these like orbs you get that have skills that will modify your character. And you can install those into your character. And there's a bunch of characters from the Darksiders universe in the game, and you can switch between two at a time. You'll have like two, and then you can, or if you're playing with a friend, they can play one, you play the other one. But if you're playing by yourself, you switch between the two, and you pretty much go through the level. They're not randomly generated. I heard the guy talk about it. He said that it was all handcrafted and all that shit. And pretty much what it seems like is Genesis is a prequel to the trilogy that's out, but it seems like they're experimenting with maintaining the Darksiders brand while trying to change the genre, because as everybody knows, Darksiders is kind of like a Zelda type game. It's like an adult dark Zelda game, because it's all about like figuring out puzzles in 3D environments while fighting shit. This is a top-down game where you're fighting stuff, and I actually prefer the way this game is over the other Darksiders games.
I played Darksiders 2 before, and I was not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I get why people like them, but they're just not for me. But I played this, I was actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
So, this might be the change they need to get someone like me and you to play it, because I was enjoying the game. Is that aside? Okay. Anyway, I was enjoying it. I thought it was like a fucking commercial on TV or something. I was like, why is it all of a sudden?
Just turn it on.
Yeah.
Just
in the middle of conversation. Wait, this is a good IHOP commercial. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. I think it's a really cool direction. One thing I was really impressed with was the combat. It was really fun, but also the animations were really good. You were watching your guys swinging, and like anybody knows, like in a Diablo perspective game, you're up in the air watching your character from above, but you're like watching them like walk into their swings and their animations. You actually looks like a person down there like fighting people. Yeah. And it looked really good. It's not just like you're going.
It was like combat based, and you would be like, you'd hit, you could mix up, and then I think we were playing on a 360 controller, or not 360, but a Xbox One controller.
Xbox, yeah.
And Y, X and then Y, different combos and stuff like that. But then if you hit B, you would like it was like a finishing move at certain points in the combat where you could
it kind of built up as you're fighting somebody. Like you placed 2 characters in the demo. I think his name was Strife and War, and you could switch between them at any time. And Strife is like more of like a rogue character. He has dual blades and a pistol. You're able to shoot at people or do like a charge shot or slice them up. And then his finisher move a lot of times was either putting a gun in their mouth, pretty much pulling the fucking trigger, or jumping on like bigger guys and like shooting them in the head, which I thought looked really cool. I don't know.
There's some weird holiday that we're not aware of, because last night there was like fireworks and shit too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then with War, he kind of like mostly was like melee combat, but also he was able to like shoot like a fucking chain at people and bring them closer, like Scorpion. And he also had like a glaive thing he could fucking throw.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a glaive, but which is pretty cool. And being able to mix between them like back and forth at any time is kind of cool too, because it's almost like having a bigger combo just with a different character.
Yeah, for sure. Because the other guy, that War guy, definitely hit harder and more hit a giant sword. So.
And he's slower.
Yeah, slower.
Than in his movements.
Actually, there was a move that I used though, because you like hold down LB and then the right trigger. It got huge. Like it was one where I just like
you transform.
Transform thing too. So
you turn into a monster.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So there's a lot of really cool things going on there, and the puzzles are still there too.
Yep.
So it maintains its kind of like identity while changing up the genre. So overall I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I'll be looking forward to playing it when it comes out. Next thing I want to talk about real quick is the Fortnite area. Now, whether you like Fortnite or not, they spend a lot of money on their booth. It's like a whole section of the fucking convention center, and it's essentially like a bunch of mini games, people dancing in costumes everywhere, people playing Fortnite everywhere, people giving out free shit everywhere, people walking around giving out Red Bulls, popcorn, fucking candy, all sorts of stuff.
Chocolate covered bananas.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, a lot of everything in that whole section was all Fortnite related. Like I watch a couple streamers that do play it, but I'm not a fan really or play it myself. But I know like they give out little Slurpee drink, which is like your drink, the
Slurp,
Slurp, and then because there's all those bananas. There's like a bunch of people dressed up as bananas and just a whole bunch of shit. And then there was that one weird obstacle course thing where it was like the swinging like pendulum sort of thing.
Yeah, there's like people on these pads jumping over these fucking things spinning around. It's in the video, you guys probably saw it.
Yeah.
But and that banana's fucking just cheering them on.
Yep.
But it was a spectacle for sure.
Crazy.
I didn't pay attention to any of the Fortnite shit, but I was definitely looking at everything people were doing. It's pretty cool. And I like free shit, so I didn't mind. We kind of hung out in there for a little bit, just kind of seeing what the fuck we could get. So that was fun. We'll save the best for last. So we also got around to finally going over to the other hall, and we stood in line like an hour until we were almost done, like with the whole thing. So we caught it at the last second, but we played Luigi's Mansion 3, which I forgot there was even a 2.
Me too.
But yeah, we waited in line for that for a while. And first off, Nintendo paid some fucking money because that building that we went into, that booth, was like this huge ass like haunted like glow in the dark mansion with a bunch of cool like ghost things flying around.
Like 100 people. I mean, there was like a bunch of people in there.
There's a lot of units in there, and every single unit had a person there to help you through the demo. They like got to know you. They like asked how you like what you thought of the game.
You had somebody like dual helping, like me and another guy.
Yeah.
There, at one point, I literally was like, I don't have a Nintendo. I don't have a Switch, so I don't know what the buttons are. Because she kept being like, press A, and I'm like,
really?
I don't know what A is.
Yeah, the chick I had was like, are you familiar with the Pro Controller for the fucking Switch? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay. Like they really wanted to make sure whoever was in that. Had the best experience possible.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't doing anything the way you're supposed to, they would like give you like a friendly reminder on how to do it as well, which I thought was cool. But overall,
it was timed.
Yeah. It was just very interesting to play a demo of a game with somebody supervising you.
Oh yeah.
It was the only one really that was like that when we were playing.
Still very like, even though you have to be 18 or or older to go to E3 was very like kind of kiddish. Like if you needed like if it was like a little kid, but again, I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird, but the game itself
was great.
I'm out of the fucking loop, but I thought it was neat. I liked it. It was fun. It had a cool look to it. Graphics were great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like go from this room to this room, find out how to get through this room puzzle wise while trying to capture the ghosts in that room. I'm sure you guys have played the other Luigi's Mansions, but it's a newer experience.
Yeah.
Played really well, very creative. Every room I enjoyed going into.
Yeah.
I might pick it up when it comes out. It was fun.
Yeah.
I liked it. And it's not remotely on my radar. It wasn't, at least. Now it is. Going in there, we're just like, yeah, let's try that out. And fucking, mostly because I wanted to see what was inside the fucking booth. And it was really neat in there. Plus, we got fucking flashlights.
Yeah, we got weird flashlights.
Yeah.
This guy that just has like a green. That was one of the things too. I think, which was one of the newer additions when you got to use like a goop.
Oh yeah.
Goopy, boogery fucking Luigi, where you could
that was weird.
It's like an ectoplasm kind of thing.
Yeah, if you hit like the right stick in, you could create a second Luigi that you could control, and he could walk through spikes and shit because he was made of fucking
really weird
slime.
That was cool little thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the Luigi's Mansion games, this is a no-brainer. You should pick it up. If you have a Switch, this is a game I feel like you're probably going to want to pick up. I thought it was really fun, and it's kind of gotten me back into the idea of playing games like this. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, and the puzzles are not too tricky, but still there, still something to figure out, which is pretty fun. So, anything else to say on that?
No, everybody was just like really, really nice. You can definitely tell it was Nintendo.
Nintendo was cracking that whip on people. Fucking
make
sure people have a good time.
So nice. Like it was just kind of almost ridiculous. But I feel like that whole side has such a different feel than
it does.
You know what I mean?
It's way more relaxed.
Way more relaxed. Way more just kind of like everybody's like smiling and happy. Not that people aren't in that one, but it's just more intense.
Wow. Yesterday when we were trying to get into the Final Fantasy VII fucking demo, people were like condescending and shit.
Yeah, it was a little. I think that just goes with like hiring around the outside area.
Yeah.
You know, they're not bringing people in; they're hiring from the outside area,
and they just have the info they're working with and shit. Yeah.
Which is just when a big event like that, I can only imagine. But still, it's like at the same time, it's like people are just we pay a lot of money to get into something like this, and it's. You just want to know how to get into places, and they're not clear about things like that.
No, not at all. Yeah. They expect you to just know. Yeah.
Except when you went to Nintendo, there was a guy standing there with a freaking giant sign that said "Line ends here."
Yeah.
And we even like went in, but we're so used to just like not cutting in, but just like kind of standing around until you're waiting for your opportunity to get in. That this guy's just straightforward, and he just let us in line. He wasn't even supposed to. He was like, "Yeah, absolutely, come in."
Yeah, he was letting everybody in.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, go for it.
Really nice about it, just like bullshitting with everybody, and
he did not give a shit, but a lot of people got to play, so we even had a guy we were almost inside of the booth, and this guy came up and he's like, is the line over? Because I went back there and I can't get in line anymore. And the guy's like, yeah, it's we've been waiting for like an hour. And he's like, oh man, I just really want to play this game. I was hoping to play it. And I'm thinking the whole time looking at Cody, I'm like, this guy's trying to fucking cut in line and shit. Cody's just like, yeah.
I think they're just way too, it just seems like they're way too lax over there. Like if you were in the other hall, you'd be like, buddy, get in the back of the line. We've been waiting for an hour and a half here.
Get the fuck out of here. And a couple other things in that area that we're going to try and check out tomorrow was there's a Pokemon booth. There was a Sonic and Mario at Olympics. There's a Zelda area. So there's a lot of shit over there to check out that we need to go look at. So we
rock wall.
But there's also shit there I don't care about, like Geico Gaming. I don't know what that is.
A lot more of that stuff over there.
Or like some kind of 5G mobile gaming thing, stuff I'm not even remotely interested in. So we'll make the best of it. But the Nintendo shit I want to check out. We need to find the Microsoft shit. We need to figure that out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It might be in that building. We'll figure that out. Because this whole time, like, where's Microsoft at? They were at E3.
Yeah.
They're like they're the only, like, giant company there, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, confused on where they are at. And then let's talk about our last thing, which I'm sure is the reason you guys clicked this video. But we went through the process of getting there early and running up the stairs along with other people who were in the know on how to get tickets to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, the system for that we found out yesterday is there is a limited amount of tickets that secure your ability to go play Final Fantasy Remake's demo. If you don't get a ticket, you don't get in. You can't go into the line. The tickets go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So we found that out yesterday, and then today we got there as early as we could. Pretty much, we were pretty far up the line. There's a shitload of people there in the morning, and as soon as we're allowed to go into the convention center, we fucking start rushing up the stairs and shit. There's a bunch of people doing the exact same thing. They're doing the exact same fucking thing. And then we go in, and everybody's just running around the fucking corner. You can see the line of people waiting to get tickets to get in line later. And as we're coming around, this guy's just like, Final Fantasy right here, Final Fantasy line right here. And we're like running in there. And he's like, you guys need to moderate this line on your own. He's like, if someone cuts you, that's your ticket they're taking, so you need to be watching out for that shit. And I'm just like, this is fucking Mad Max.
Yeah.
This is every man for himself.
Yeah.
So, we got in line, and they kept emphasizing when the tickets are gone, they're gone. So even if you're in line, doesn't mean you're getting one. So luckily, we were actually pretty far in the line. We ended up getting tickets. You guys saw that in the video. Mm-hmm. And after that, we were like, we're fine. As long as we're here between 4 to 5 p.m., we'll get to play. Once we came back, we waited in line for a while. One thing that's very, very fucking annoying was they have a thing that they do with lines that if it gets too full, they tell you to come back later. And which makes sense because they don't have the room for you to be queuing for the queue. Mm-hmm. But they're kind of disingenuous because they're like, come back a little bit later. But as the line starts emptying off, they'll let like one person, 2 people in. So the line just keeps staying full the whole time.
First off, the lady told us, come back in 10 minutes. So we were like, fuck that, we'll just wait here for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we literally were hearing her tell other people, oh, come back in a minute. Like, come back in a minute.
Yeah, and every once in a while somebody would just get in line.
Yeah.
And she just let them in.
What the hell?
Yeah, she was very inconsistent. So we got closer and closer and closer finally.
Which we were there early. I mean, we literally, it was from 4 to 5, and we got there like 4, and we waited the entire time. So.
But when we got in line, it was 4:06. So for 6 minutes past 4, we were watching her let other people in.
100%. Randomly
and telling other people, she's like, oh, just take a walk for a little bit and then come back.
Yeah.
And then someone else would just get in line. It was really fucking annoying.
We were kind of pretty much guaranteed a time. But I mean, you're excited and you want to be able to make sure that you do get in. So that was the whole thing. Like,
I don't even know how it works though, honestly, because fucking we were there past 5, and then they start moving into the other queue, the other fucking time.
But I think
slots.
they're probably also like they understand that there's so many tickets that they can hand out, but they're still pretty genuine on trying to get as many people in there.
They do, but when we got there around 4, they start saying people from 3 to 4, this is your last chance.
Yeah.
So they do cut it off.
Sure.
So that chick going, oh, just take a walk or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm going to wait here, and then when I can get in, and finally there was like a chunk of the line missing. We just walked in, like, fuck it, dude, fuck it. Waited in line for a while, and their set was kind of interesting on the outside. It wasn't anything too special, but there's like people dressed up like fucking Shinra. Like Shinra, and they're essentially getting paid to be assholes to us. They keep coming up and staring at us like we're dickheads, and tell us that like, where's your ticket at? We bring our ticket out, and they're like, we're gonna rip one of these, whatever. The other one can keep theirs. And
the whole aesthetic was supposed to be you were getting on a train.
Yeah.
So and that was
our tickets were for the train. Yeah.
So it all made sense afterwards. You're like, oh, okay, like this makes sense. Fuck, we need tickets. Like I get the idea, but it just doesn't make any sense. But it was cool. That whole thing.
Well, because in the beginning of Final Fantasy 7, Cloud gets off the train or whatever.
Yep.
So it's like you're entering the train. Yeah. Which is clever, whatever. But like the way they were, it was funny. If anything, they like get up in your face and stare you in your eyes and shit. And I start laughing and stuff. And I rip my ticket. She started looking at the ticket, and she'd look at me. She's like, I'm like, what? Not good enough? Or fuck? I started cracking up because I'm like, this is so awkward. And there's some chick dressed like fucking Aerith.
Yeah.
Or Eris, however you like to say it.
Let's see.
Well, in Japanese it is Eris.
Yeah.
But yeah, and shit, that chick was weird.
It was
but yeah, we waited for a while, and then finally they let you in, and I'm gonna describe it because I couldn't film it. I filmed the room for a split second, but then they were quickly telling everybody, please, no video, no photos, no nothing. So you go in a room, there's like 50 people in there, you sit down, and they have a center screen and 4 other screens on the outside. And the lights go out, and it starts playing. It's CGI, but it's like this Shinra like commercial almost about
propaganda almost.
It's like a commercial saying like Shinra's there to make the world a better place and stuff. It shows kids riding bikes and stuff like that, and then it like glitches out, and then like lights are flashing, and it goes over to Jessie, and she starts explaining that Shinra is like essentially sucking the life out of the planet. We got to stop them, and she starts giving you kind of like your mission, what you got to do. We got to destroy the fucking reactor, all this shit, and which was kind of cool to watch. We're all sitting there watching all this happening, and she's explaining the situation. She's bringing up Wedge and all this stuff, and then they kind of
it's like a tutorial.
It's like a tutorial. It's just explaining how like Cloud works, how Barrett works as characters, which is interesting because they're pretty different. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of an interesting way to do it. But then finally, before we got to play, the center screen turns on, and we got to see the new remake version of the original intro from Final Fantasy VII, which gave me fucking chills as soon as it started. As soon as the music started and it started going down to earth, and showed her face, and then showed the train go by from like a side perspective, and the music started building. Mm-hmm. And then Cloud jumps out. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. The graphics were awesome. And the new music, just orchestrated with the bigger orchestra, stuff like that, was just fucking awesome to hear and see. And then that was pretty much our lead off to like, oh, okay, go play the demo. Because essentially, Jesse's telling you as if you're Cloud what your mission is and how to play and stuff. And then you start off the demo starting that mission. But
and that whole area is almost like they have like a little the Mako or the Mako reactor.
Yeah. I've said Mako, and almost everyone I know has said Mako my whole life, but they refer to it as Mako, so I guess it is Mako.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you go out there, it's all green, there's a big reactor to the left, and there's a bunch of consoles set up, and you go up, you put a headset on, grab your controller, PS4 controller of course, and you start the demo as Cloud, and it pretty much sets it up, letting you know that you're going to be playing with Cloud and Barrett, but they are not only two different characters, two different abilities, but actually play differently. So Cloud has a lot of moves where you're hitting square to initiate attacks, whereas Barrett, you can from a distance hold square and just unload on people and do damage to people that are maybe even up higher than Cloud can hit.
There's no jumping.
If you hit X or L2 or R2 at any time, you can initiate a menu which will significantly slow the game down. It's almost a pause, but it's not quite, because you'll see them moving very slowly. In that screen, you can go to your items, you can go to your abilities, you can go to your spells or whatever, and decide to use those at any time while still fighting shit. There's a roll button so you can dodge shit. There's a block button so Cloud can put his sword up when people shoot at him. Barrett just kind of puts his gun in front of him.
It takes place pretty much halfway through the reactor, the very beginning level. So it's like the last 25%.
Yeah, because you do the boss battle.
Yeah.
But, first off, the game looks gorgeous graphically. The character models are amazing. I mean, Cloud, his character model is awesome looking.
Cool.
So the voice acting was good. The eyes look really good in that game, man. They nailed it. Cloud's eyes look awesome. Aerith's eyes look fucking awesome. The music was really good. It was that classic music from that part where you're going through the Mako reactor. What you remember, except for more orchestral, way better sounding, but it was cool because as you initiated combat, the music would swell and get louder, and there'd be like a beat starting and shit with it, and it'd get really intense sounding. Yeah. And as the battle ended, it would go back into the boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then it'd go and get crazier as you got into battle. So that was really awesome to hear. The game's flashy as fuck. It's a Final Fantasy game, so when you're hitting people with your sword and sparks are flying and shit, and people are shooting and you're blocking and there's sparks flying and stuff, it all looks awesome. There's two ways to initiate moves. You have ATP, which is your ability points essentially. Those are allocated by hitting things, and then your limit break is allocated by getting hit. So you have 2 meters that are growing as you play. Cloud had Braver and a couple other moves.
Cross slash,
triple.
Triple
slash, and some kind of one-way charge.
Yeah, it was like a thrust.
Yeah, and then Barrett had some kind of buffing move. I forgot what the fuck it's called. And then he had that like charge shot
Yep.
one. I can't remember the name. Just let me know in the comments if you remember. Those classic moves. And they both had spells. I used them a little bit. And yeah, it was cool to go through. It was a pretty short demo. Honestly,
It was basically as fast as you could. I'm sure there was a time limit, but it was basically just as fast as you can beat the boss, which took up a good chunk of the time.
Yeah, you go through it first, and there's a couple like normal like Shinra soldiers that you fight, and that's really cool. You start hitting them and shit, and they start going into menus, so it feels more like an RPG than like Final Fantasy 15 did, while still maintaining an action feel. It's also cool that on the fly you can switch between Barret and Cloud and have them initiate their moves all on the fly as you're fighting. So it was very cool to experience. I thought it played great, and then. A lot of the classic enemies from that area you ran into and great graphics. It was really cool to see that. And then you run into the fucking Red Scorpion boss at the end, and it's really fucking cinematic. Like, it shows up and sliding around and shit, and they're like talking about stuff like that. And while you're fighting it, it's going through phases, and then it'll go into other cinematics. It'll jump on the fucking wall and start running and stuff like that. And it'll start shooting missiles and stuff, and then there's a part where it starts charging up its laser, and there's like rubble on the ground and stuff like that, and you have to hide behind it, and the AI is good enough.
The AI is good. That's
they'll be like, get behind, whatever, blah, 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 and then you get behind, and then they'll run behind.
Because immediately, like, what I'm like, I was used to is just having to like switch in between. Like, I ran up with Barret, and then all of a sudden I switched back with Cloud, but he had already moved over there. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, it was really good about it. The AI does play really well. Like, when you abandon the one you're playing, you'll see them go right into action, playing the way they should. So yeah, I keep wanting to compare it to 15 because 15 is the most recent Final Fantasy and it had a similar system, but this doesn't even. You can tell that they worked with that system and they wanted to continue something similar to it, but this is not the same thing. No. It's similar, but it's not the same. Like I said, they have somehow found a way to make it feel less actiony. It's actiony as fuck. But you're still going through menus pretty often, constantly.
Multitask.
Yeah,
it feels like it at first because it was a little bit of a rush because I really wanted to beat that. I didn't want to get the time to run out or anything.
You want to get got?
I don't want to get got. So I straight up just you panic a little bit too. You know what I mean? So it's just a little bit different. I mean the old you go back to play the original and it's almost a little too slow. It's great, don't get me wrong, but it's just like how much games, especially after playing 15, you need a little bit more action, and this is it feels really, really good. There's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel too overcomplicated and it doesn't feel too slow.
Yeah, it's hard to say, like find a way to put it, but even though this is a remake of Final Fantasy VII, it's a story we already know, although they're going to expand on it. This doesn't feel like a more polished, better-looking Final Fantasy VII. It feels like a new Final Fantasy, just one we know.
Yep.
It's like, it's built from the ground up. It feels brand new in every single way. It looks better than 15. It plays better than 15. But it's all these familiar elements. The music I got fucking chills right now just even thinking about it. Yep. Even when we're watching the intro before we played the game, like I start kind of feeling emotional because that game's so nostalgic for most people my age, our age. So just seeing like this like celebration of a game that's so beloved, I was like, holy shit, dude, it's real. Yep. We played it. It was fucking awesome. For sure. And it does not deviate completely away from the RPG factor, but does bring in some of that action element that you got from 15, but everything about it is just better than the last Final Fantasy game. Without they could have just like Resident Evil 2, the remake for that. They did a fucking fantastic job with that. It's not just like a small little like update. They're doing the exact same thing with this game, and it is awesome. As I was playing it, I'm like, I don't want to quit playing this. I want this right now. I'm ready for that game first day. Even like the voice acting I was a little worried about, like, you gotta be careful with the Cloud because you don't want him to come off like Noctis in 15, whiny little bitchy guy, but also you have to nail that he is kind of like a fucking like somber, almost like I don't really know what the fuck's going on.
And then the dialogue was almost pretty much the same, but it was like there's the whole scene where he's like, well, I'm only here for the money. And Barrett's like, blow it then.
Well, I actually liked the writing there, though, because he's like, he pulls the bomb out, and he's like, fucking plant the bomb or whatever. Yeah. He's like, oh, I don't want to do it. Why me? He's like, you need to prove you're one of us. He's like, I never said I was one of you guys.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm here for the job.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, earn your money then.
Yeah,
and he's like, fuck. And he just like takes the bomb wherever. And I was like, that was good dialogue, because you get the sense that like, you know, he was saying like, are you one of us? He's like, no, I never said I was. And he's like, but do your fucking job.
And then
he's
Scorpion
like, okay.
Scorpion comes down, and then he's like, you traitor, blah blah blah, which I'm pretty sure is in the original.
Well, yeah, the dialogue's definitely gonna be different, but it's the same situation for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Just like Jesse fucking being like,
she references Wedge, and that's kind of cool.
But it was just that was weird.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, fucking, it's I don't know. I'm really fucking stoked for it. All my concerns about it, the episodic thing, we'll see how they handle that, even though they've gotten away from the word episodic. That they're going to release the game in chunks, essentially 40 hours, 50 hours, whatever. I'm not worried about it anymore because I played it and it's so good. I have zero complaints about it. It's fucking awesome, and I wanted more of it.
It's gonna be a massive game.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. If you're excited for this as a remake, unless you're a purist and you want it to be exactly like the original, exactly like it, I would urge you, try something different. But I think they do find a perfect line there of crossing the old with the new, and just seeing everything about that game upgraded and updated to 2019 and its quality and music and everything about it. It's really getting the respect it deserves. I really believe that. And
one little tiny,
and it was a blip with the game, yeah. And I fucking loved it, and it was completely worth waiting in line.
100%.
And those tickets were hot commodities. Cody was joking, like, you probably sell these, and without even joking, I was like, probably, yeah, like 100%.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm thinking about selling mine. And I was like, okay, you do that. I need to play it. I want to try it. But if you wanted to do it,
that I played it. I'm happy that I played it.
But there was such chaos trying to get these tickets for that game that I guarantee people would buy them.
Oh yeah,
guarantee it, because there's a chance you will not. And most people at the convention are not playing that game.
Should have asked to see what the likelihood of people seeing it tomorrow were, because I don't think. I mean, they probably set aside a good chunk of tickets for all 3 days.
Maybe on the last day they'll just open up the line, let it go.
Just let it
Chaos.
Go. Chaos. Just take it.
Just rip that fucking place apart, dude.
Yeah.
Because outside of Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy VII easily is the most hyped game of the fucking of E3. People were like running for those tickets and fucking like people were asking about them and shit constantly.
Some still couldn't get into anything Bethesda.
Yeah. I mean, that's worth mentioning. We've tried to play Bethesda games and id games.
You can play Blades, but you can play that shit for free right now.
Yeah. Nice advertisement. You can play that shit for free right now on fucking.
But
yeah.
Fun.
But yeah, all id and Bethesda games, their reservations are completely booked every time we go in. So I just gave up.
It was Cyberpilot. It was Wolfenstein Cyberpilot was the main one that we were trying to go to, and you couldn't.
And Youngblood and Doom Eternal, they're all reserved. And they're like, well, you can we can have up to 6 people every hour, and if those people don't come for their reservations and you're waiting for that whole time, we'll let you in.
They'll tell you that, and then we literally were standing there and being like, oh, maybe it could happen. And then the same lady who's telling us this shit comes over and she's like, well, but I wouldn't though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, like blah blah blah. Like, you just come back later. Like, and you're just like, what? The hell is going on?
So I never went back.
Yeah.
After that, I was like, I'm not trying that. So,
that whole area has some really cool like picture stuff though. There's a big
a lot of really cool shit.
Actually, it was like the biggest part of the whole thing, other than the Doom Eternal, which is right in the middle. They have the battle royale for we talked about that the last video, and but there's a lot of cool things. Like there's a lot of Pit Boy stuff, and there's a lot of like
just no games to be played.
Yeah, exactly.
No games to be played.
Like a theatrical thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
If you're a fan, you get to look at things, but no touching. But yeah, going back to Final Fantasy, just real quick, we tried to play Final Fantasy 14. That line also filled up quite a bit. Maybe we'll try tomorrow. I know if you beat Titania, you will get a shirt for it. So that'd be cool. So I could go wearing them. They're pretty cool shirts.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we'll try that tomorrow. Also want to try and get into the Dragon Ball Z game. That one fills up quite a bit, and then the wait time's like an hour and a half until they open the lineup again. So that's fucking high demand. But I mean, we knocked out Cyberpunk first day. We knocked out Borderlands 3 first day, which is awesome. We knocked out Final Fantasy 7, today, second day, which was awesome. Awesome. Well worth the fucking hype. And yeah, our last day will be trying to get all the things we missed and maybe look for merch because I want to look for more shit to buy. I'd like to find some Square Enix stuff. I have not seen that anywhere. We need to locate the Xbox stuff because we haven't found that yet. We need to explore some more of Nintendo's shit.
Set up crazily.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not an industry person, you're not someone who's spent, 2 days prior of them opening it up to the mass public, then you don't really know. I mean, you even have a map with all this stuff too, and
it's still confusing.
Just not like
there's a lot of nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, Final Fantasy VII is fucking awesome. It's well worth the hype. So is Cyberpunk. Make sure to check out that episode as well if you want to see what we had to say about that. And I hope you guys get a good look at these games soon and get a chance to play them. And yeah, let me know in the comments as well what you think about Final Fantasy VII from what you've seen and what you've heard us talk about. Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? Is there anything you'd like us to try and look for on our last day? Let me know sooner than later so I can make an effort to do that for you guys. And yeah, we got one more, maybe two more vlogs coming for our E3 extravaganza on TLG. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, guys. And stay tuned for tomorrow's vlog. Till then, have a good night, guys, and take it easy.